Hello, and welcome to another episode of Scavenger Life. This is episode number 469 at scavengerlife.com.
Welcome to the podcast about Alone, the TV show.
Oh my God. Jay last night, we watched 3 seasons of Alone, and he's like, we need to take a break from this show.
I cannot watch
all
7 seasons of
skinning squirrels.
Yeah, and smashing mice and eating them. It's fine. It's just it's like I get the story. It is interesting though. What we've seen is the people who win are the ones with the best attitude.
Oh, from the beginning.
It's not necessarily about are you a survivalist and can you
are you tough?
Yeah, can you suck sap out of a tree and
Yeah.
It's more just the people that are not afraid to be alone, which is the actual,
Yeah.
In this first season, we were kind of skipping all around. We were watching the first season and the people in it, the first guys who leave within the first 3 days are the toughest, I'm a military guy. I train military guys in Africa, and
3 days later, he taps
I'm
out.
a policeman, and they're afraid of the bears and thinking the bears are coming after them. And it's funny, the guys who we're about over, and I think we know who
wins, but
it's the 2 nerdiest guys on the show,
basically theater nerds,
right?
They're both theater and sci-fi nerds, and I'm they just toughed it out.
The guy singing opera and the young 22-year-old kid who's just a super nerd who probably ate pizza his whole life, just because I think that they're allowed to. I mean, they allow themselves just to I'm gonna be okay. It's not easy, but it's going to be okay.
It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. So we're obviously kind of obsessed with that show because you have to be the number one ultimate scavenger because you have to scavenge for food.
Right.
And shelter.
Right.
Or you die. I mean, you're not going to die on the show.
Right.
But you're going to call them on your satellite phone and be like, I can't do it anymore.
You're going to tap out.
You're tapping out.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess it's kind of related to what we talk about in this podcast about being scavengers. But it's interesting. We were just talking about before we started this about where we live. Little small America.
Rural town.
Yeah. It's rural America. There are places like our county throughout the country of the United States.
Yes.
They're kind of, it's united, I guess.
At this point.
And there is a clear distinction when you meet people in our county of where they fall on the spectrum.
Right.
There are some people who are here who are there is nothing here in this county.
Yeah.
This place sucks.
Right.
And then there are people who are there's nothing here in this county.
I love it.
It's awesome.
So glad.
It's people are seeing the exact same things and thinking of it from a different way.
Yeah.
And we're the ones who are wow, there's really nothing here. We can do anything.
We can make something happen.
The bar is so low, it could only get better.
Right.
And there isn't a bunch of junk here.
Right.
It's just beautiful mountains.
It's not strip malls.
And the trees and the Shenandoah River. I mean, it's
just beautiful.
It's I think there are other places that wish they didn't have all that gross, big lots and all that stuff.
Corporate.
But people who, and honestly, a lot of times it's people who are born and raised here. They're just there isn't anything here. There's nothing to do.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? So, and we do see that where people born and raised here, they leave, they go to school, they go work somewhere else. And then we see them end up coming back here 10 years later or something because they're
That happens a lot.
Actually,
this place ain't so bad.
It's actually kind of cool, yeah.
Yeah, not everybody does that, but
I feel it's the same way on that show Alone. Each of these people are in the same place, essentially.
Right, and they see such different things.
And just they're cutting back and forth between these people filming themselves in this empty landscape, and some people are there's all this stuff to do, and I can get all this food, and some people are the darkness is entering my mind.
I mean, literally people say stuff like that.
I will never sleep in that forest again.
I'm never going back.
It's a hellscape. And it really is kind of a mental thing.
Yeah, it's
and
fascinating.
I feel it's the same thing when new people come on the forum of eBay, of our platform and we talk about eBay and people see it in a totally different way, you know? Like,
well, you know, people, it's just like scavenging at thrift stores or whatever. I mean, you can look around and be like, there's nothing but garbage here.
Right.
And then, you know, two completely different people can stand in the same place and be like, oh, but look at that.
Actually,
look at that.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That thing everyone's skipping over is like this really incredible, cool, weird thing.
That's how we started, you know? That's what we do every single time. Every single time I'm shopping for something, I'm like, okay, what didn't everyone else around me notice? Whether I'm in a store or I'm online, you know, I'm like, what did nobody else notice that I can grab onto and put a different context onto?
And, you know, I love going to the parts of a thrift store or the parts of a yard sale where everyone's skipping over because they see it and they're like, oh, that's all junk.
Junky.
And
it's dirty.
And you dig into it and you're like, wow, this is
something's
really
in
cool.
here.
Yeah.
You hope that happens. It's been happening for 10 years, so.
Okay, specifically eBay. Old dad on the forum reminded everyone those extra free shipping supply coupon.
They're done June 30th.
Expires in 2 days as of today, which could be your year ago.
Your next week.
So June 30th, 2020. If you don't redeem it,
it's just gone.
It goes away.
So if you need anything extra, or if you want to send something extra to somebody else that you don't need, you can do that too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
If you're like, I don't need any tape, but my friend does.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But just get it.
Just use it. Why not? It's free.
It's free.
It's free real estate.
It's free real estate. Those... Also, we don't care about this, but people were talking about the 50,000 free
listings.
That eBay was giving to everybody.
Is that people without a store? I don't
really know the parameters, but eBay was like, because of the coronavirus, like, we're going to give everybody, I think who has a store, 50,000 free to use till July 31st. So it's I didn't really think about that. You know, we have an anchor store. We can list up to 10,000 items for the price of our subscription, and we don't get close to that, so we're fine. But someone, I think it's Debit Credits, was saying that you know, he just has a premier store. Is that
it's like middle?
Is that what it's called? The premier? Yeah. So he has 1,000 that he can list. So that 50,000 is actually great because he's got 2,000 up there, which he normally pays extra for.
But when the thing ends,
right? When the thing ends, he's got to go back to paying extra.
Ooh,
and you know, everyone's complained about that. Like eBay's subscription is like $100 for basic. Premier is 1,000. I think that's
100 is basic. That's so low.
And then 10,000 is the next jump.
And then the price tiers are crazy because I know the middle one. I forget what the first one is. The middle one's $150 a month, and you're like, okay, that's not. Ours is $300 a month base rate.
Right.
That's a lot.
And that's paying for the year, you know?
Yeah, like you do a yearly subscription.
Okay, I just got to check because I'm probably it's premium. Yeah,
You're
so basic
nonsense.
is...
Basic, Premier, Anchor.
So basic is $250. So, okay, because I'm giving people all this wrong information. I should just look. Starter, $4.95 a month with an annual subscription. That's 100 items per month.
That's not bad.
Yep.
$4.
So that way you can maintain your inventory, 100 items for the $4.95 a month. Basic, $21.95 a month with an annual subscription, 250 items per month. Premium, $59.95 per month with an annual subscription, 1,000 items per month. And then we're Anchor, $299.95. 10,000 a month.
So here's what's crazy.
Enterprise.
Oh, Enterprise is nuts.
Which I don't think anybody in our community is part of this. It's basically $3,000 a month and you get 100,000 items.
Look, the fact that the tier below us goes from $59 to $300.
Well, but you're also going from 1,000 items to 10,000 items. And everyone says, why isn't there something between premium and Anchor?
5,000
Call it like Superb or something, you know, Supreme. and it would be like 5,000 items.
Right.
We'd split the difference, and you charge $150. There you go. Yeah. eBay.
I mean,
take it for free.
Look, there's a new CEO, so listen up, y'all.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know how we got on that, but yeah. So that 50,000 is going to go away. So if you have over, like 1,000 items in a premium store,
bump it up, maybe
that will now start charging you extra per month. Okay. The other thing is, that spring seller update. I don't know if anyone cares about this, but there was a spring seller update. A bunch of stuff happened, and they just announced like it's actually happening. So when a buyer starts a return case, and sometimes you're allowed to approve it or not approve it.
Yeah, you have to always approve it.
Well, you don't have to. And that, I guess, is the change here. eBay is now saying, like, if you don't respond to that return request in 3 business days, eBay will automatically close it. Oh. Give the buyer their money.
Of course.
They get to keep the item. Yeah. You're done.
I mean, you can't decline it.
Right. But you have a choice to respond to it. Like, this buyer's like, I don't like, this item came broken, and you can either prove it or you can dispute it. I don't know. Anyway, my point is eBay is now saying you have to do something within 3 business days or else it's done. And I just want to say that because there are those eBay sellers who cry a lot when they're like, eBay just gave the person their money.
Because they didn't respond.
The only time that happens is if you as a seller refuse to participate in the process. You might not like the process.
And the process sucks.
But the process is there, and you have a choice to blah,
as
blah,
a buyer, there have been times where someone has sent me the wrong thing and or the item is not working.
Right.
I try to message people first. Hey, here's my deal.
Help me out.
No response. Fine, I'm opening a case.
Yep.
So I open a case, they don't respond. Full refund.
Yep.
And you're like, all right, fine,
and
dude.
Keep the item.
Yeah,
and then that seller goes somewhere and is like,
I can't believe it.
eBay's trash. So I don't know. I mean, look, we have our issues with eBay like everybody else, but those are points where you're just like hurting yourself.
I know. And look, I understand, and I've done this myself, and Jay has not been happy with me, where I want to ignore the situation.
Right. Like, we will get returns. Because you're just like,
I don't want to deal with this person.
Like,
it bites you in the butt.
I know. We'll get returns, and the box will sit on our dining room table for 2 days. And I'm like, Ryan,
I just open it.
Give them their money.
I did that this morning.
It's done. Like,
I had a defective item, and he sent it back.
Right, and so
which I'm kind of like, why did I have him? I don't know why I did that.
Yeah. Well, our thing is just maybe people won't send it back.
Maybe he's bluffing.
Maybe he's bluffing, and maybe it's not broken. But anyway, the other thing is, and again, I don't think this is anything new, but eBay's finally just like closing the gap. You must provide tracking with an eBay integrated carrier. So when you send an item, you have to provide tracking, or else you will automatically lose the case if there's any issue with the buyer.
So people who sell postcards and ephemera via first class forever stamps, 55 cents.
Yep. Risk. Yep. They are risk tolerant. They're willing just to try it. But it's very clear if you don't provide tracking,
and someone says I didn't get this,
you will lose the case 100% of the time. But I get it because postcards it's like $3. They're just
it's
like
expensive.
it's
right,
fine.
Right.
It's
but if you're selling higher end ephemera, like say you have your postcards that are like $5, $6, $9, fine, first class mail with a forever stamp. But if you have higher end ephemera, make sure that stuff has tracking.
Yeah, I'm sure.
$100 whatever.
Those people are like, Ryan, we get it.
Ryan,
like,
duh.
Right, we get it. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure if someone is willing to spend, whatever, $100 on some vintage map, they're willing to pay the extra $3 for tracking or however much it is. Okay, would you like to know our numbers this week?
I would love to.
Okay, I can't even ask you how you feel about it.
Medium.
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 I feel medium about it. All right, it was a really slow week for us, and the numbers bear that out. We sold 34 items
of low dollar.
Last week we sold in the 50s, so it was like it was tough. It was a slow
molasses
week. We grossed without shipping costs $1,110.90. It's good because $1,000 is our we need to make $1,000 or the police will kick us out of our house. But so that's good. Our highest item was $130 for these vintage pamphlets. We had all these little pamphlets that we sold as a lot. So what did we sell other than that? So what's the stuff that just made us money? That was just sweet that way. Well, we sold that old trophy for $63.
God, old bowling trophy.
So one time I found a big lot of trophies, which I grabbed. The whole box was $1. Yeah. This was a long time ago. And we were selling them, $20, $30. I thought we were out of trophies. Why was this one up for $63?
I think we got this one in a separate lot. It was
what was so special about it?
It was a bowling trophy from the 60s. It had a cool bowling guy. It was solid wood. It was walnut.
Wow.
At one point, I put it up that high, and how long ago was that?
I mean, look,
you took pictures of it, so that had to be many, many years ago.
I am not complaining.
Yeah, right.
I'm just saying, amazing.
Look, it had make an offer. Yeah. Anyone could have said, I'll give you $30.
Someone paid full price for it. We sold an old beer can for $30.
I have all these Pop Tops from the 70s, which I also paid $1 for 50 of them.
But again, we've been selling them over time, so it's great.
We
sold a Coben-style pan.
Coben-style is dance. Paella.
Paella. For $45. And, that's fine. This is one of those items. It's just Revere ware. It's one of those items where the market is so saturated now that we're just happy to sell them.
But they're so beautiful.
They're really beautiful, well made.
Here's the thing with that one. It didn't have a top.
Right.
So you're kind of someone's piecing this together.
But it's great. It was one of those items where we could find them and sell them almost immediately for $100. So those days are over. What was satisfying?
Anything that was on the delicates shelves.
So we sold this vase for $55. No markings,
random.
Right? It was just
Is that the really colorful one?
Yeah, red.
So the cool thing about this vase is it's one of these ones that you buy at an estate sale or whatever, and you're it's okay, it's kind of contemporary, but it's got cool. I would have kept it for one of our rentals.
Right.
I listed it, and it sold for full price the next day. Nice.
And had no markings or anything. So.
There was some keywords on the bottom. There was a little barcode label. That's why it was contemporary, but I don't know. It was cool. I was great, $50.
We sold this wall tile for $60, and we've had this thing for so long.
We had two of them.
It's a West Elm. It's kind of a...
I think we were gonna use them in one of our rentals, but they have this weird way of hanging that is not I think it's supposed to come with a hanging kit that it didn't, and we were having a heavy 11-inch ceramic tile on the wall in a rental is a bad idea.
But that was satisfying because it's been taking up space, and I just wanted to get rid of it. Then we sold these architectural designs for $70, and I remember we've had this for 5 years. We got this at an auction that no longer exists anymore. And when I got it, I just assumed it would sell right away. I thought we could split them up. But it's just, I'm just glad someone bought
Basically, what they are is they are architectural samples for carpenters from the 1920s and 1930s.
Right.
Where they're you can order this molding or this column from our workshop in Wisconsin. And it's a catalog.
Right.
I mean, it's so cool.
Yeah.
But it's very particular.
I'm sure people who sell ephemera, we probably just didn't sell them correctly. I guess we could have separated them. And I don't know. I just imagine someone would want to buy them and, hang them on the wall, and maybe they will. I don't know.
She bought them as a birthday present. She asked me to wrap them.
Yeah.
Which I did.
But I'm glad it sold.
Yeah, $70. That's a good sale.
Scavenger of the week. We just bought...
I bought some stuff.
A handful of stuff just from an online auction. We still haven't really kind of jumped into going to yard sales. When I drive around, I see yard sale signs outside, but we haven't stopped.
I have small bills in cash in my purse.
Yep.
So I'm ready for
Mad
it.
money.
Yeah, I have like a wad of ones.
Yep. Thrift stores are open.
I haven't gone to any. Look, I am hesitant to go to stores. Like, I just still am.
We don't have the need to have to take that risk in our mind to do that, because we still have plenty of stuff to list and plenty of stuff in our store. So
I'm taking it slow.
Yeah, it's like a big science experiment, and everyone's choosing where they want to be in that experiment. So
yeah. I mean, I definitely would love to be out in the world, like, for sure, but I don't really feel like it.
Yeah,
so
we'll see. Customer issues.
Just returns.
Yeah, a couple more returns. Yeah, we had like that big wave a couple of weeks ago. They've all come in, and now it's pretty quiet. It seems like that's what happens a lot, you know.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it'll quiet down.
Things we learned. Indianapolis. We mentioned this on the podcast. In Indianapolis, some guy called up and said that there was a Goodwill books. All the Goodwill bookstores were closed.
That's what we thought he said.
And we just probably misunderstood. And we had several people email us and say it's not bookstores, because Goodwill doesn't have
bookstores.
It's Vogue stores.
Vogue, which is something that is particular to that area.
I remember 5 years ago, people were talking about, because Goodwill is not like like a single chain.
It's not like a national chain.
It's a regional, like Goodwill, the entity. I think this is the way I understand it. They like license out their name to regional places. So Goodwills are regional in every state, and then it's run, and so there could be 5 in this little part of Indiana,
right?
And then they choose how to run their stores.
So those Vogue, they're almost like boutiques, right? They're like, here's we have little independent thrift stores that do that. Here's our high end section.
There was probably a manager who was like, "Ooh, there's all this
good stuff.
These mink coats. Let's have like a really fancy, and she always dreamed of having her own vintage store, and so they started these. Anyway, those things those closed down. The fancy ones, Goodwill, I hope, just goes back to just like straight up like,
I want the cheap stuff.
Here's piles of stuff. Buy it.
I want the cheap stuff.
Yeah, right. Which I guess that's why they opened up their what do you call
the outlets, the bin outlets,
where it's like
they're like, this is one step above being shredded into garbage, right? Or I don't know what they do with it.
That would be interesting if they had a season of Alone where they only chose the guys who hang out at the Goodwill outlets, bins, where they like hover over their bin. And
it's their territory.
And then dump them in the forest somewhere and see if they can actually survive.
Can you scavenge out here?
Yeah, that's right. Okay, let's go to the comments or questions that people sent us this week.
You can call us on our voicemail line. The phone number is 540-407-8486. Or you can email us a beautiful sounding audio file from your phone. Our email is thescavengerlife@gmail.com.
Hi, my name is Grace from Salt Lake City, Utah. I've posted on the forum maybe 2 or 3 times, but usually I'm just a listener. I've listened to all of your podcasts so far, so thank you so much for putting them on. I often talk to people about you guys as if you're my coworkers, so I just really appreciate all that you do. I ran across something recently that I thought might be a good topic for the podcast. I was at the Urban Outfitters store in the mall, which is kind of a chain store that sells usually new vintage styled items for like young adults and high schoolers. But I saw this one section that had sweaters and pants that weren't all the same. It wasn't like a pile of 40 of the same sweaters, but each sweater was different. And so I looked at them a little closer and realized that they said repurposed or vintage sweaters, and they were actual vintage sweaters like what you would find at a thrift store. That they had just, curated. And I later went online to check and see, was it just that store, or what was it, something that they're doing all over the place. And online, I realized they also have a vintage section now where they sell those kind of clothes. Some of it is just vintage the way you would find it. A lot of it is repurposed, where they've cut up jeans or taken apart shirts and kind of put them back together, or tie-dyed them and done a lot of different things with them. But I just thought it was fascinating that a chain mall type store would actually be selling genuine vintage items. Anyway, so kind of wanted to post and see what your thoughts were on that.
Cool. Thanks, Grace. Yes, Urban Outfitters is like the hipster Gap, basically.
Yeah.
I think it might even be owned by the same company, is it?
They might be.
It's like Gap, point, Old Navy, Banana Republic.
Yeah, it's owned by some conglomerate for certain.
And honestly, they have a lot of cool stuff, I
think Anthropologie and Urban Outfitters might be owned by the same.
But yes, they have had this for a while, where there will be a section in their store where they sell real vintage items,
stuff, like in our store.
It's like they take them and then they like put their own little tag on it,
or sometimes it is just a vintage jacket.
And I can't tell if they're just doing it just to kind of like say, look, we're cool too, doing vintage, or if they actually make money from it. I don't know, because it's a pretty small part of their.
I also wonder where they source that stuff.
But to me, what's interesting is that, I mean, if you look at their actual products that are new, they're basically vintage items. Fake vintage items. Like, I can imagine at the Urban Outfitters design studio, those people are just getting vintage clothes and being like, let's take this, and this, and we'll put it into a brand new item. And that's why it looks cool.
I mean, they've been doing, like, even when I was in high school, I mean, they weren't as big as they are now, but there was a huge Urban Outfitters, which is probably still there, in Cambridge, in Harvard Square.
Harvard.
Yeah. And so we would go there, and it was like that back then, too, in like the 90s. Would you say?
Beantown.
We don't call Boston Beantown. Nobody in Boston calls it that.
Yeah, so...
Just so you know.
But I think that's also, I mean, again, that's nothing new for them, but it's kind of this trend where retailers are trying to jump onto the kind of vintage bandwagon. And also that's why we see like these actual companies who are trying to sell vintage as actual clothes. Like what's that one? Thread up.
Is that what it's called? Thread up?
Thread up.
There's Threadless, but that's no, it's not Threadless. Is they make T-shirts.
Yeah, where there's this huge venture-backed, like tens of millions of dollars behind this company who are trying to be basically like an online Goodwill, where they're selling vintage clothes, which in some sense is good because it's like
there's so much of that.
Stop making new clothes, people. Just wear the clothes that have been made. There's so many clothes.
There's so many.
You can look great.
Yeah.
Just buy them.
Yeah.
Hi guys, this is Britt from Indianapolis again. I'm sorry, I must have had a cold when I called and left you a message. So, Vintage Vogue as in like the Madonna song, like the magazine. So Vintage Vogue was Goodwill's upscale store where they sent their nicer items, their name brand items, to it and to ask for higher dollars, similar to like those display cases that we've all kind of glanced at when we've gone into a Goodwill. So, but with those, they would sell the items pretty much at eBay prices. So like a shirt that would be $2 to $5 at Goodwill, probably around like $12 to $15 at Vintage Vogue. And they were usually located pretty close to to a Goodwill. So they would probably source a lot of the things there. But, they closed them up. Could have been a lot of things, rent, extra man hours to sort through the stuff, and people just weren't buying. So anyway, just wanted to make that clear. Yes, they did sell books there, but really it was mainly clothes and some household items. So sorry for the confusion, and I'm still selling my eBay tape. Take care.
Yeah, I think sometimes on Google Voice, too, when you're on a phone, like just the words get a little garbled.
But yeah, thank you he explained it a lot better than you did.
Vintage Vogue.
Vintage Vogue.
Hey, Jay and Ryan. This is Debit and Credits from the forum. I have a procedural question for you guys. I guess it's a Ryan question. Ryan, you often say when you're talking about going through the process of listing that you have things scheduled to drop, and I'm just wondering if you're not doing auctions, what is the advantage that you see for scheduling a posting as opposed to as soon as the listing is done, I'm like, okay, next, get it out, it's posted. So it sounds to me like that's not your process, and if it's not, I'd love to know what the thought behind that is. Thanks a lot. Keep up the good work. Bye.
Deb and Credits, I just talked about you.
We love all your posts.
Answer his question, and then I want to say something.
On the forum. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm not actually scheduling them. I'm not like, on July 10th at 2 a.m., publish this. No. So
you're basically hacking eBay.
Yeah, so here's the reason why I'm using scheduling and not just drafts. Because, okay, I have a helper. She just left, actually, on Friday. It was her last day. So when I did have a helper, the problem was this. After 30 days, drafts get deleted. So it's good for me to keep up with things before 30 days, for sure. But there have been times where I let something sit because I was traveling. Not right now, apparently, but other times. So a fellow scavenger said, what you can do instead of just letting stuff sit in drafts is you can bump it over to scheduled, like pick the furthest date out. It's
2 weeks.
It's like 2 weeks out.
It can only be 2 weeks.
Okay,
right?
sorry. It can only be 2 weeks, right? You can change it though. If you're like, I'm not ready yet, you can keep bumping it out. It'll say, okay, you want to schedule this? It's 10 cents a listing. You do not get charged if you manually list it. If it says, July 30th. Well, if I list it on July 15th before it's ready to get scheduled by eBay, I do not get charged. So it's basically like in between drafts and actually being published. It's like this in between level where it's almost ready, but it's not sitting in drafts.
Right, because again, if you put stuff in drafts, they will disappear.
They start disappearing.
And I think you're only allowed
a certain amount.
I don't know if they actually tell you how many, but it's like 30 or 50. So people are having a problem where they're just making drafts, which they're thinking, oh, that's cool. But then they go back and they're like, they're all gone.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah. So I was having issues like that.
Now,
and then
there are people who actually schedule things to drop at certain times because their thinking is, and again, it's not documented as being real, but it makes him feel better, I guess. Yeah. They want to make sure every day at 8 a.m. there are new things that are put in their store because it means their activity and the eBay algorithm likes that, and that's fine. It does cost 10 cents an item to actually schedule. It doesn't cost 10 cents to start a schedule. Right. It's just when it actually will post in a schedule.
If you let eBay automate that post, it charges you.
But that's why we do it. I do want to talk about Devin Credits because, it's public information because you put it on the forum, so I think I can talk about it. He went to a Goodwill, found these prints, these Dalai Lama, Dali. Yeah. He got them really cheap.
They were $10 each.
And he thinks that they might be worth thousands of dollars. And we were talking on the forum about how do you sell that stuff. I always think it's an interesting question because most of us are finding stuff that, if you're lucky, something might sell for $500,
several hundred.
But none of us are really finding anything that are selling for thousands of dollars. And it does start putting a lot more pressure. Do I sell this on eBay?
Right.
Am I going to get scammed? Right. Are the kind of people that spend $10,000? I mean, I will say, if you go on eBay and just search certain categories and check out solds, highest at the top, people are spending tens of thousands of dollars on one item on eBay. So it's not like there's a limit to what people can spend. But his point is he thinks that the art collectors might not be on eBay. So like we talked about, it's kind of an adventure.
Yeah.
We did that when we first started getting into art. We found this oil painting we thought was worth a lot of money because I found his name on Wikipedia and I thought that meant something. And we took it to an auction and they put it in their catalog. And we actually went to the auction While those, and we didn't make any money. I mean, we
yeah.
sold it for what we paid for.
We sold it. We broke even. We were like, that's how much it was worth, right?
And we realized like this specific auction house, they didn't know any more about anything than we did. They just like did a Google search, and they charge you a flat amount to put it in their catalog. So it's like $75 no matter what.
That painting, we should have put it on eBay for triple the amount.
Right.
And whoever wanted it,
right.
And we
actually think we know who bought it.
We know who bought it.
A person it was like his great grandfather. And if we put it on eBay, he probably would have paid us
whatever we wanted for it.
So anyway, it's always a big adventure. Some people have these like crazy stories. I found this thing at a Goodwill and I sold it at an auction for $20,000.
Yeah.
Those are like the
gold stories of gold
lottery, right? Good luck to you.
That's it.
Cool. All right. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks for hanging out today.
Yeah, I like that when we can all just kind of hang out and do stuff. I will say, like Ryan said, our helper is now gone. We wish her a lot of luck in her new full-time job with benefits.
Yep.
Super exciting.
That's the dream. For some people.
Yeah. So we wish her luck. But now that means that we have to go old school until we find another helper.
Yeah.
I will say, I took my truck in to get inspected.
Yes.
And the guy who owns it, his son is a worker. Like he
works at the shop.
Fixes cars. He's a brother that sells on eBay.
Yeah.
Like young in his 20s.
He sells clothes on eBay.
I know. He's like this young man that sells on eBay. And I don't know how they found out that we sell on eBay, but we were talking about it. And I was like, if you know anybody that wants to make some money taking pictures, let me know. Yeah. So I'm expecting a text or a call from him.
Yeah, it would be really helpful to have an.
Although we've had 2 helpers so far, young ladies, and they've been great. I wonder what it would be like if we had a young man come and work for us. I don't know. Like,
I mean, as long as they can help me title stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty good. If something's so weird, I mean, I'll be like, this is pretty much what I think it is. Like, I'll write it down.
Yeah.
But, you just have to suss it out. Like, does this person seem to know this world? And
how do you think we should... I forgot how we kind of like got our other helpers into it. Do we just say, why don't we try it out for a week and see what happens?
I think we were like, let's, I would train them and show them the ropes and just show them how to do stuff and just show them how I do titles.
Yep.
Make sure you're just filling in. And if you need to research other eBay items that are similar to see what the title might be or the category, that's what I do.
And we don't have like a set, like, you need to hit these numbers or else you're out of here. But our helpers have done about 5 an hour
of total.
Taking photos, writing titles, and
scheduling
doing
it.
Item descriptions. It's about 5 an hour.
Specifics,
And that's kind of what makes sense for us,
Right. Like it's a high quality listing that's pretty much ready to go.
Right.
It's not me. At first, my first helper would not title anything. And that was taking me so long that I had to be like, I just need you to write titles.
Right.
You're cranking through the photos, but,
those are actually the easiest.
Yeah, part, I need this to be ready to go, so I can be like, that just looks good. Price it.
Go. Yeah,
exactly. So I would love to find someone else. I don't mind taking photos, but I know I have a lot of other things going on, so it's gonna be lacking.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, and I do want to mention that if you're looking for some coffee, we would hope that you would maybe consider buying from our buddies and future partners, broadporch.coffee. There's actually a little coupon code, SL10.
10% off.
10% off till the end of July. And I would say if you're just kind of new to specialty coffee, like hand roasted, Southern Split would be the best.
I love that blend. It's delicious.
The most coffee, full bodied and
it's a blend.
Roasty. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
But then I really love the Ethiopian, but you got to be into like specialty coffee, very lightly roasted, sweet. It's like orange juice.
Yeah, it's definitely an acquired taste, I think. But I like the really Guatemalan. Good. If anyone's gonna order something else, I really like the Guatemalan.
Phil and Jill will appreciate it that they wrap each one and they
put thank you notes. Yeah. It's literally the most adorable thing.
I'm
ever.
Like, guys, when we're partners,
it's me who's like,
let's talk about how we do
versus eBay.
Yeah, exactly. They're definitely still into that mode, which is nice. So that website is
broadporch.coffee.
Broadporch.coffee. Okay. You can go to our blog or you can see our forum at scavengerlife.com/forum. You can call and leave a question or comment on our voicemail line.
The phone number is 540-407-8486.
Yep. We post an episode every Monday morning. And then on Wednesday, Steve, our buddy, he posts What Sold video. He's been cranking it out.
Yep.
He's
keeping us all company.
Yep. It is good. And he shows how much he sold things for, which if you're new, really
yes.
Go and he has, how long has he been doing now? 4 years? Maybe?
So long.
If you're new, if you go to our blog, you can go back and look at everything he's done, and he's really a good example of one of those guys that can go to a yard sale and is finding high quality items, and he doesn't pay a lot of money for things.
It's an education. Amazing. Watching his videos is super education.
Okay, and you can subscribe to us through iTunes or YouTube. Just smash that like button.
Smash the bell. Is that still a thing?
I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos about coffee.
Yes.
Just seeing people talk about their coffee shops. And, man, that is such. I don't know if it's still a thing, but man, it was a thing for a while where everyone's like, smash that bell.
It's like, you know what the bell is? It's a notification.
Right.
So you can subscribe to people on YouTube and never see that they post a video, but the notification pings your face. I don't know what it does.
Yeah. I think our YouTube subscribers, I think we have 12,000.
I think it's 17,000, but our downloads are not 17,000. Right. So that goes to show you that the subscriptions versus viewers is.
But that's true for a lot of people.
That's what I'm saying.
Some people have 500,000 subscribers, and then they put up a video, and it's 20,000 people have watched this. So subscribers don't. I don't know if it means anything, but anyway.
Subscribe on YouTube.
To be honest, I always just imagine there's 10 of us,
That's what it feels like sometimes. There's 20 of us.
That's just how it needs to be. There's 10 of us. We're all hanging out. Anyway.
This is the longest outro ever.
Nobody cares. Okay, this podcast is ending in 3, 2, 1. Bye.